leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. He's chasing the deer that circle the lips. Play ball, play ball. Roll up the bases and smack it right over the wall.
Play ball.
Play ball.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Laughter Saves Lives live here on Strong Island Television in Paradise Studios from beautiful Massapequa, New York.
Beautiful downtown.
Downtown. That's how I knew, right? Downtown.
There we say downtown.
Yes, there's a three-story building over here. Downtown. Massapequa, New York, by the railroad station. Chinese restaurant right over here. Pizzeria. Co-hosted today, Rich Walker.
I am here.
Our regular co-host, let's say, and we are brought to you, Rich, by the law firm of Barish and McGarry, lawyers for the 9/11 community. It took me a year to not say McGarry and say McGarry from our biggest sponsor, who gave us in money that I can relate to. Pretty decent money to sponsor, and we love Michael Barish. And it took me over a year to realize I have a good friend, Gary McGarry. That's how I remember
so it's
it now.
Confusing. But you know what it is? It's like when they were handing you the check, they were holding it back until you got the name correct.
He had his thumb over Gary. That's why I never remember. When he handed me the check.
You didn't see it. Okay, you
and it wasn't one of those big checks.
Good. Yeah.
It wasn't one of those big. We got to get one of those big checks because we make donations.
And you could use like a whiteboard and change it for whatever.
I want to get one of those for me personally. Yeah. So if I want to do like in church.
Oh,
when that thing comes around,
the collection, put that in
the big check for the $1 that I donate every week at church. Right, put the $1. That would be cool.
But it's a big $1.
I wonder if we could do a video in church. That would be a funny skit.
Funny.
I'm going to ask the pastor if he wouldn't mind during 12 o'clock mass. We did a little.
I'm sure if you replace it with the real check at the end, he'll like.
The dollar check that I just wanted to, we're not a political show at all.
No.
I just want to mention the Ukraine and the people that are struggling over there and suffering, and we're going to be doing something. Something
definitely.
tiny, but something to support in some way. I'm actually in touch. It's pretty cool. Paul Christensen, who's a friend of the show, he is a firefighter from Utah that I taught. I lost you, Reddy. I lost you.
I'm listening.
No, you're gone.
Your friend from Utah. I'm listening.
What's his name?
Gary McGarry.
We're both the same because we're very ADD and we go off on it.
They can just call this the ADD show. He once catches me a few months back. I'm staring at the back wall. And he goes, I'm looking at the wall. He's like, are you listening to me?
You know what? We're unique. I see some of these talk shows and they listen to each other. We don't need that crap. We need to be reminded. Like, hey, Rich, I'm over here. So I don't even remember what I was saying. So Paul actually taught at Chernobyl. Well, learned and taught 4 or 5 times, and he has a friend over there, and he wants to do an interview on our show to let us know what's going on. He's a family. Chernobyl is in Ukraine, the nuclear power plant.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, I thought it was in Russia. It's in Ukraine. It was in the USSR.
See, I didn't know this.
So, anywho, has a family, 1 or 2 children, married, obviously, and I've been going. Well, I went back and forth with him once on WhatsApp.
Right.
And we're going to try to tape an interview with him to play maybe next week. Basically, just to say, hey, we're family men. You're a family man.
Awesome. Yeah.
What's going on with you over there, and how are you coping? And we pray that he's okay, and he will be okay. So that would be pretty interesting. Richie and I were just talking about haircuts.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get Richie's opinion. I went for a haircut 3 weeks ago, and they didn't cut it really, really short. My wife goes, it's not that short. And now I may need another haircut again. So being from somebody that tries to save money, I think I want to get my haircut shorter, not for the look, but for the financial gain.
Right. The less, the better.
Now I only have to go once every 6 weeks. How short would I have to cut it?
I have my times I go. Like I'll go like 2 weeks before Christmas. So it's for the holidays.
Right.
Then I'll go again like in February, like before Valentine's Day. Like I space it out before holidays. But
What did you say?
look at my hair.
What were you saying?
But look at my hair. He's
It looks
asking
nice.
for my advice.
It looks nice. You know, being the ADD couple that we are here, I don't want to lose. I have my 5-year-old grandson. You know, I watch him a lot. We go to school. Vincent Frank Bachagalup Larokia, Bachagalup Skungia Larokia.
Nice Jewish boy.
Yeah, and I take him to school, and we walk in the morning, and we talk about what he did in school at the end of the day and what he ate for lunch. That's a big one for them.
How old is he now?
He's 5. I'd like to bring him in fact, if we can bring him in live and see if we can get his attention. Let's see.
There he is.
Hey, Goose! I call him a Goose. How are you, Goose?
Good.
How was school today?
Goody.
What did you have? This is a big. What did you have for lunch?
Cereal.
It's lunchtime. You can have cereal for lunch.
You can.
Right?
Yes, I can.
All right. And what did you learn in school today? You know when you pick them up, they eat nothing. What did you learn?
Time.
Time about clocks? And what did you learn about time? Give us one thing you learned.
I learned like the minutes. 5:30.
5:30 is how many minutes?
I don't know.
Okay.
Let me ask him a question. What if the big hand is on 12 and the little hand is on a 1? What time is it?
12:05.
Whoa.
Wow, that's.
You wanted to go the other way,
It was
but
actually 1 o'clock.
it's actually his father has a very loud voice.
But you know what? It's amazing. His dad didn't even know the answer. If the big
Yeah, I don't know how I got that wrong.
is on 12 and the little hand is on a 1, it's
No,
1.
I'm thinking the other way around, Rich. That was really embarrassing, but I'm going to blame it on the 5-year-old.
All right, listen, Goose. Hey, Goose. You go to bed. Go to sleep. I'll see you tomorrow. All right?
You're a star on
You
TV
were on the
now.
TV show. I love you. I got your fire truck here, and you're not getting it back. All right, good night. I love you.
Good night.
Bye. Oh, that was Goose Larokia,
Yeah.
as I call him, or Vincent Frank Bachagalup Skungiel. And his sister is Lillian Virginia Lollapalooza Petunia.
Wow.
That's the
these are
names
big
that
names.
Grandbabs named them.
Nice.
Grandbabs named them. My birthday was this week.
Oh, I didn't.
What?
Did you put it on Facebook? No.
Let me tell you something. You're such a liar. Let me tell you something.
I didn't know.
I direct message. I don't do like everybody just post it, or some people don't post it. I want everybody to know about my birthday.
What day is it going to be?
It was February 26th.
Oh.
You knew.
No, I didn't know. Seriously. I did not.
I
know.
got over how many? 300. You probably get 1,000 birthday
I
wishes.
wish you. I did wish you. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If these birthday wishes is on Facebook,
Yeah.
some of them are automatic, I would think. Some people have it automatic set up that when it comes somebody's birthday on their list, it sends out happy birthday.
To their name. Like.
Yeah. Does that really count? Does that count? Is that a... I like, somebody says, hey, John, have a great day. Maybe they can put that automatically.
Laugh a lot.
Laugh a lot.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Now, what happens if you're someone like me
Yeah.
at my level,
Yeah.
where I have way too many people to write to, so I just automatic it,
I
No?
don't think it counts. I really don't think it counts.
Now, when you write birthday wishes to everybody, do you use the same birthday wish and just change?
No,
the name?
I usually do a happy first.
Right.
I'll do 2 happies to
Do
let
you
them
throw in
know.
hugs at the end.
I'll put a hug.
Yeah.
I'll put happy,
That's a
have
signature.
a great day. I can't believe it. Wow. But, I try to be a little different. That's who I am.
Yeah.
Best birthday present this year.
What was it?
Cornhole. Official size, regulation size.
Yeah.
Beanbag, cornhole game. We played on my front lawn. My arm actually was sore the next day. I played so many games. I love horseshoes, cornhole, ring. All those games relax me. It's a little bit of a challenge, little competition. I love a little competition.
What about ladder ball? Do you like that one?
I did play ladder ball. I like ladder
That
ball.
was fun. I like that.
I like ladder ball. I tell you, I like horseshoes.
Yeah, it's the best.
We
Real
should
metal
have-
horseshoes?
Hmm?
Real metal horseshoes, or
No,
You
the
have,
little
like, the rubber ones.
plastic things.
right?
No, real metal ones. I want to have a laughter saves lives. Let's be realistic here.
Yes.
We wanted to have a softball team, and we're getting a little old. And Santo's supposed to be the manager of the softball team.
Right.
And we'll talk to him about the end about this.
Yeah.
He hasn't done much as a manager.
I'm putting it together.
You got to get a team and you got to ask people and get good players, right? You used to play, right?
But in horseshoes, you don't have to do this.
Two people team.
So only 2 people have to show up. Is
True.
what we're interested. And so,
All right.
Yeah.
So let's go to break.
I know we're not going to a break. We're not going to a break. You're going to tell us about the upcoming shows that we have. And then we're going right to Dana.
All right.
Break
Get
after
a
Dana.
lot of shows. I didn't realize. I asked Butch to write
So
them down.
everybody get your pens out at home.
You don't got to get your pens out.
Well, they want
But if you're in the area and you're familiar with some of these shows, you may want to come to one. Let us know. We have March 4th. Bobby will start throwing up the flies. March 4th, next weekend. 1 soldier, 1 dog, 1 team. That's in Jersey. March 18th, Sayville Fire Department. March 26th, East Hampton Fire Department. April 2nd, Wantagh Fire Department. April 15th, Oceanside VFW. We're going to be working with the VFW a lot over there, doing shows throughout the year. We're doing animal rescue. I just wanted to do something for the animals.
Does that mean the top left
Could
corner
be.
on that?
April 22nd, Michael J. Dole III Scholarship Fund. April 23rd, Freeport Yacht. April 30th, Green Lawn Fire Department. And our big show, May 5th, we'll be filming for our documentary series, Cinco de Mayo, at the Fire Museum for a bunch of FDNY related charities, 9/11 related charities. It's going to be a really fun night. We're trying to get a big star to close this show. Somebody would pop. And if we can't get them, we may ask Rich Walker. Rich has got to be on more shows, people. Rich has told me this, and I agree.
No,
Let's bring out. Yes, no, I agree. I agree. I agree. Let's bring out our first guest from Dana Lopez from the Inn in. Where is she? Where's Dana? I see her somewhere. Our first guest, Dana Lopez. Hey! Look at how she just pops on that screen.
Look at all that blue. It's like she works for NASA.
It's my favorite color.
She's going on the space shuttle.
You're representing, Dana, our Hero of the Week segment.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys.
Because what you do is God's work. What you do is so important. And I know you're not making the money you should for what you're doing. You're doing it partially out of love and what you want to, yes, out of love. So we love having you back. How are you?
I'm doing well. I, too, got my hair cut 3 weeks ago. We probably went to the same place.
Because you look good and I look like a mess already.
No. Oh, no. So, but yeah, we love the blue, the Inn, I had to represent with the Inn blue. So I'm glad you like it.
I love it.
I do. And your place, I was there once. We got to do another food drive. I feel so terrible. We got to do another drive for you guys. We'll do it at these 2 shows coming up at the VFW. It's not on the flyer left. Butch, I know you're listening. We got to add that to the flyer.
I have an idea for that on the food.
We're gonna have people bring what Dana needs at the end there. But the last time we did a show where your people attended, remember that? It was a table of your people
of our
there.
Volunteers, yeah, they had a blast.
They were a rowdy bunch. No, they had so much fun and they were so nice, and I was so happy that they showed up. And we'll give out. This venue is smaller, so I can't give out as many free tickets. But we can give 2 tickets to your people if you want to raffle them at work to come to the show.
That would be great. Thank you so much. Yeah, we had a couple of our volunteers go last time. They laughed. They had a fantastic time. So thank you so much. And of course, thank you for all the support that you give to the Inn food drive. Don't feel so bad that you haven't done a food drive. We need food all the time. We're serving all year long. So whatever you can do or whatever anybody can do is always appreciated.
All right. So before we do these 2 shows in April, we'll get it on the flyer. We'll blast it out on Facebook. Everybody has to bring what you tell us to bring, what you need at the time. Tell us a little bit about the Inn, where it's located, and what area you cover and what you do.
Sure. So the Inn is a nonprofit organization. We're mainly based in Hempstead. We run the largest soup kitchen on Long Island, which is called the Brennan Inn. We've been around since 1983, so a lot of Long Islanders do know us. And what we do is we serve people in need. They may be They may or may not be homeless temporarily or for long periods of time, and they may or may not have resources to get a hot meal every day. So we run the Mary Brennan Inn Soup Kitchen, where we serve meals, but it's not just a soup kitchen. So we also provide lots of other items. So when we are taking donations, it's not only food, we also give out toiletries, we give out baby items, diapers and wipes and formula. We give out clothing normally. I mean, COVID sort of changed everything in the world, but and for us, of course, as well. But we're starting to slowly, like everybody else, just sort of get back to sort of what we were doing before.
You know, I said the inn. Please decipher between what the Mary Brennan and the inn.
Well, the inn is just the umbrella organization, because the Mary Brennan Inn is the soup kitchen. That is one program that we run. We also have the Center for Transformative Change, which is next door. That's a resource center and a clothing boutique. That's where we give out donations of clothing, housewares, shoes, things like that. And we also run a couple of homeless shelters in Long Island that house either families, individuals, or single men.
That's amazing.
Don, if I could, people are asking if the inn is a hotel. Dana, can you please tell everybody what INN stands for?
Sure. The IN stands for Interfaith Nutrition Network. Basically, interfaith not being a religious organization, but just like encompassing everybody. Anyone who is in need is welcome to come to us and seek our help. And the main thing that we do is food, but we also provide shelter and we provide resources and just ways for people to sort of get back on their feet if they've fallen on some tough times.
Richie, you have.
And where is this hotel?
It's not a hotel. No, she's kidding.
So the Mary Brennan Inn is
theme.
the Mary Brennan Inn is located in Hempstead, 100 Madison Avenue. It's right nearby, not far off the Southern State, off Peninsula Boulevard, not too far from Hempstead High School. So we're right there in Hempstead.
And for our national people, it's in Long Island, New York.
Sounds great.
I just look at organizations like yours and what you do, and people go through their daily routine and they don't get that some people just aren't eating today or are finding it hard to find one good meal today. Wow. And even if you have a home, right, that may be all you can afford is that rent.
That's
you
true.
know? Now you still got to eat and pay the bills or whatever. So like when I visited your place, I was just so moved by the people there, everybody with a smile on their face. I've worked jobs where I know people were making $200,000, $300,000, not that I was, and I'm miserable. And I walked into the inn there and people are volunteering or maybe working there, some of them. Everybody, hey, was thank you so much and big smile on their face.
It's a big.
Well, it's definitely a place where if you are involved somehow, it's definitely something that warms your heart because you're doing something good for somebody that really needs it. And the guests too, the guests that we serve are so grateful for what they receive. If somebody's hungry and you hand them a hot meal, you hand them a bag lunch, that makes a difference even to one person. So, and you're absolutely right. There are plenty of people that we serve that maybe are between jobs or maybe they lost a job. I mean, look what happened. COVID happened, all these things happen where in the blink of an eye, you can switch. And Jean Kelly, who's our executive director, she says all the time, she says that what we realize is that any day we can be changed from the person who's doing the serving to the person who's being served. And that can happen to absolutely anybody. So the main thing to remember about the inn is that we treat everybody with dignity and respect because they're human beings and everyone deserves to be treated with a little dignity and a little respect.
You ever have anybody sit down to their nice meal and they go, I don't like the gravy. And you got to give it, they want to return it.
So, everyone has preferences. I get this question a lot. You know what question I get, especially at schools? What? The kids are always asking, what about allergies? So there is an answer to that. Human beings, they have preferences. So sure, sometimes somebody might not want something that they're given. We don't actually take dishes back, but we will give something else. And we always have options. Before COVID, we were serving kind of like cafeteria style. So, and by the way, our volunteers are unbelievable. So the ones that you saw, they're just amazing. Everybody,
They are.
you're right. When you walk in, everybody's just all smiles and hellos and welcomes. So we used to serve a hot meal cafeteria style where volunteers would come in early in the morning and cook a meal for 400 people every weekday.
Right.
And we had options. We had a vegetarian option, and we had a, protein, and we're serving big meals, and there was a choice.
What about keto diet? Somebody comes in.
What do you mean?
I don't know if diets are one of our.
He's killing us. Hey, so very important. If I could, we've got a lot of new viewers. We've got a lot of people watching us on Optimum, and a lot of people are asking, how can they help? How can they donate?
We were going to.
So, is there a website that they can go to?
Yes, and I'll spell it because it's the hyphen, you got to have the hyphen, the-inn.org. And there you can donate online. You can register to become a volunteer. I will say that right now, because our program shifted so much during COVID, volunteer opportunities are extremely limited. But what you guys are doing by collecting items so that we can give them out is key. So if anybody wanted to donate food or brand new clothing right now, we usually take gently used stuff. But
do you take used clothes? And the reason I say that is sometimes people donate crappy clothes, which we don't want. Yeah, I mean, you really don't want that.
But you can't tell people that because
but here's the thing.
Well,
to give somebody a pair of pants with a tag on it that are brand new, or a coat that's brand new, makes them feel awesome, as opposed to getting something that is used and worn. I mean, I have a coat that is unbelievable. It doesn't look worn, but it's not new, but it's a great coat, and I don't wear it, and I would love to donate. Is that something I can donate?
Right now, we're only taking, and this is all COVID related, but right now for the foreseeable future, but that's going to change again soon, we're only taking brand new clothing with tags. However, we will get back to taking gently used clothing. And honestly, whatever we get, we have volunteers that go through every piece of clothing, and they don't give anything to our guests that they wouldn't wear for themselves.
Good.
So you can have a gently used set, something gently used that can still be worn. But if it's just, torn, ripped, stained, dirty, whatever it is, we won't give it out, because you're right. Because we really do want to make sure we're treating people the way we would want to be treated and treat somebody that we care about. Dignity.
Well, wait, let me say one thing.
We have to go in a minute. So what is the thing, if you had to name two things you need most right now, and I hate to do that to you, is it baby stuff?
Right?
Always non-perishable. Can I do three things? Is that okay?
No, two things, Dana. Two.
Yes.
Okay, so besides non-perishable food, so that doesn't count. I would say we're always looking for diapers in larger sizes 4 and up in diapers, baby diapers and wipes. And right now we are we give out toiletries once a week, regular size toiletries, and we really, really, really need lotion and deodorant and toilet paper. It's like 2020 in the beginning all over again. Lotion, deodorant, and toilet paper. I know that's 3 things, but it's under one category. So
that's right.
Count it as one.
So we'll put that on the flyer, Butch, for those 2 shows.
All right. Thank you.
These items. We love you. We love what you do.
I love you.
Thank you for taking the time to come on. And we're going to do another drive.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the support, and everybody out there. Anything makes a difference, and everything is appreciated. And thank you so much for asking how to help.
One more time with the website, Dana. One more time.
www.the-inn.org. Don't forget
Let's go to a break, and we'll be back with.
Hold on 1 second on that break. Dana, thank you so much. We appreciate it. John, we have a lot of people who, again, are new. Can you do me a favor and please, in 10 seconds or less, and I know you know what I mean, tell them they want to know what's with the fire hydrant. Please let them know what Laughter Saves Lives does.
Laughter Saves Lives Live is produced by Laughter Saves Lives Foundation, which is an organization that I started after 9/11, after losing a third of my firehouse on 9/11. We do comedy shows mostly to raise money in memory of the guys lost and continue to be lost for different organizations. LaughterSavesLives.org. Check us out. There's a nice video on there. And if you want to make a donation, that'd be wonderful. The latest thing we did is one of the latest is we sent a donation and paid some bills to a young man from Louisiana, active firefighter with a family who lost a leg due to cancer. So those are the kind of things we support, and other organizations that have a similar mission. Thank you, Butch.
Awesome. Now we will go to break, and we will be back with the legendary Lloyd Schwartz.
Yes.
"9/11 didn't end on 9/11. 500,000 people were exposed to the World Trade Center toxins and are still at risk today. 68 cancers have been linked, including skin cancers, prostate cancer, breast cancer, blood cancers, and many respiratory illnesses. Fortunately, all victims qualify for free health care, and more than $10 billion is available from the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund.
I was a paralegal just 2 blocks from Ground Zero. I had skin cancer and lymphoma.
I worked at Goldman Sachs. I had kidney cancer and respiratory illnesses.
I was a downtown teacher. I had breast cancer. I qualify.
I qualify.
I qualify.
If you were downtown anytime on or after 9/11, call Barish and McGarry, the lawyers for the 9/11 community. Call today. No law firm has recovered more money, with over $2 billion awarded to 9/11 victims. If you worked, lived, or went to school in the exposure zone on or after 9/11, call Barish and McGarry today.
My father worked downtown. He died of bladder cancer.
I ran from Gateway Plaza in a cloud of smoke as the towers fell.
My mother and I qualify.
I qualify.
Barish and McGarry's advocacy for 9/11 victims isn't just professional, it's personal. With offices just steps from Ground Zero, they witnessed the pain of the 9/11 attacks and lobbied Congress to pass and permanently extend the Victim Compensation Fund.
I was a downtown court officer. I had prostate cancer in 2007. I qualify.
We all qualify.
All right, we're back, and we're really excited about our next guest. He has been a successful TV, motion picture, and theater guy, beginning with his work as a dialogue coach on Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch. Worked with his dad in the industry. Please, a nice, warm welcome for Lloyd Schwartz. Lloyd, how was that intro?
I like the intro. I think we all have to talk about our hair. I haven't had a haircut for 6 months. I guess that
you can understand. You can understand.
And I got to tell you something. That last guest you have, Dana, and what you guys are doing is just great work.
Isn't that fantastic?
Thank you. She's amazing. Like I said, we go through our daily lives and we go, hey, let's go to Subway. Let's get some Italian. And these people are waiting online for a bag lunch right now because they used to serve hot lunches there. But because of COVID, they had to stop that. So they're getting, I don't know, they're doing their best, but believe me, they're not eating what we're eating, and she's doing wonderful work. Wonderful work.
Very impressive.
We're so happy to be this much, helping her, just a little bit, So it's really nice to see you and have you on the show. We have a ton of questions for you.
Okay. I hope it's not the state capitals because I'm not good at that.
But first, I want to talk about how you got started in the business. My dad worked in a luncheonette in Middle Village, Queens. Mm-hmm. So when I was going to school, I would go by and help him out and make egg creams. You were in college, and what was your dad doing?
Well, my dad actually started in the radio with Bob Hope, and by the time I was in college, let me see, he was already doing Red Skelton Show, and then he did Then he did My Favorite Martian and Gilligan's Island. So I kind of started working with him on Gilligan's Island as a dialogue coach.
And was that something that Dad wanted to hang out with you and said, "Hey, Lloyd, come on down after school. I want to introduce you to these people," or was it something that you said, "I really want to get involved with this industry"?
It's pretty much like you and the lunch counter. That's what he did, so that's what we do. And my whole family's involved in it in some way, and now my kids are involved in it. It's just my wife says if we're farmers, the kids would be farmers. And so
let me ask you a silly question. Dialect coach.
Dialogue coach.
What?
Dialogue coach.
Dialogue coach. Oh, okay, I misunderstood that. Okay,
Yeah.
now I don't have a question.
The dialogue coach, because I watched the previous interview with yours. You would go over the dialogue with mostly with the kids on the shows.
Right. Well, yeah, starting on Brady Bunch, Dad said, "Would you take care of these 6 kids?" And I had been a summer camp counselor, and I had gotten a degree in television. I did some performing, and I said, "Okay." So I made sure that they knew their lines and knew what to do when they went into the scenes, and then gradually, as time would go by, I went from that to associate producer to director.
Wow. So I
to
heard through the grapevine the most easiest going.
Is that good? Most easiest? Is that
the easiest?
Yeah.
Person to get along with, Robert Reed. Am I correct?
Next, he said next.
No. No, I would say if you take all the 9 people in terms of getting along well with him and easygoing, he would be 10.
10? He was tough, huh? He was tough. And what would make him, I don't want to talk about, but what would make it so tough to work with him? Was he a perfectionist, or was he just a pain in the ass?
He was a Shakespearean actor, right? And he felt that he was above.
Right. That was part of it. I listen in retrospect now, because it's been a lot of years to have a chance to think about it. He was fighting to make it more serious, and by doing that, he became a strong father figure. Because a lot of times in those halfway situation comedies, the father's kind of an idiot, and
he was the first like real dad. I grew up in that era. I couldn't wait to get home on Friday nights as a kid when I was out. I remember sleigh riding. I couldn't believe that night was the Brady Bunch. My mother used to have to tell me, "This is not a real family." And I'm like, "What? You can't tell me that. Of course it is."
Well, a lot of especially girls thought it was so much of a real family. My dad would get letters saying that they were going to leave their family and come in and move with the Brady Bunch.
Look at that.
There they are. Look at that.
I have to say, kudos to you and your dad. What a legacy to have the Brady Bunch and Gilligan's Island. These might be 2 of the greatest. I'm not just saying that. These are in everybody's head. That
at our age. I don't know if the kids today. Do you know if?
Well, they're still running.
They're still running syndication. Are these seen by us, or is it young people watching these shows now? Because let's be honest.
What's the demographic?
Watching Gilligan's Island to a kid that's 18, they're going to be sitting there going, "Really? No."
Yeah.
What do you think?
Listen, they're still running.
Right.
And especially Brady Bunches have been so many things since the original show went off the air. I mean, we've been half hour live action show, and we've done movies of the week, and then feature films, and even last year we did a thing for the HG network where we redid the house to make it look like the house, and there's been musicals and things.
I watched that show. I did watch that show. Yes.
Yeah. It's funny because every producer likes to think that everybody knows their shows, but people seem to just know these shows. I mean, they've left the land of television and become Americana. So
exactly, and Inside Out, they know these shows.
Yeah,
we have a very big question coming up.
We have a question from
John Santo.
This is a comedian friend of ours. He's a co-host sometimes on the show.
Okay,
he's an Emmy award-winning impressionist.
Okay.
And the biggest Met fan in New York. And John, would you like to ask Lloyd a question?
Well, I'm actually a huge Brady Bunch fan, so I'll tell you 2 quick stories. My wife and I were in California for the first time about 20 years ago, and we were doing the map of the stars. And I said, "What else is there? Let's do one more before we go back to your aunt's house." She goes, "There's only one thing around here. You're not going to want to see it." I go, "What is it?" "The Brady Bunch house." Yeah. And I remember the address off the top of my head: 11222 Dilling Street, Studio City. And we drove, and it was surreal to see it because I'd seen it for so long. I grew up in that era. To see the actual house was incredible, just incrable.
Did the same thing. Let me just say before your next question. Of course, that wasn't a question, but before your next question, that Brady Bunch house, this has been told me, is the 2nd most photographed house in the United States, next to the White House.
Wow. So my question was about so I was in Tortola in the Virgin Islands, and we we were going to a restaurant that had those tikis that will look like the bad luck idol from the Hawaii episode. And I told my kids not to touch it. It's bad luck. How did you come up with is there any backstory behind that idol and how that became?
Yes.
That's a very famous, for people of my generation, that's like infamous. That
the Vincent Price episode.
Yeah.
Yep. The Hawaii episode. It was a 3-parter.
We filmed it in Hawaii, and we didn't have that tiki idol, the little tiki idol that you're talking about. And so I took it upon myself to just go to a little souvenir shop, and I found it there. And so that was it. It's
that's amazing.
We kind of scratched it up and put it in a hole, and that's where they found it in this.
That's great.
Well, my wife said, she goes, "Aren't you being a little superstitious, not wanting to touch it?" I said, "Okay, you touch it, and then you're going to wake up with a tarantula on your stomach at the hotel. I don't need that, you know."
That was a real. By the way, that was a real tarantula, and they put little balls on the fangs.
Oh,
yeah. So that managed to convince Chris that it was okay, but I would never have done it.
Wow. All right, good stuff, John. Thanks. Hang around.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Let's another question or two, maybe about Gilligan's Island. Then I want to get into this new thing that you're working on, the classic couple counseling theater. Classic couple counseling at the theater in West LA. Sounds really interesting. You have a question? Another question about? You sure?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
I'll feed you.
Gilligan's Island. I watched it when that show was made.
Yeah.
Was there talk about them during the original show making it off the island?
Certainly. What happened was the show was canceled, surprisingly, because at that time it was doing very well. But Mrs. Paley, who was the wife of the president of CBS, she liked Westerns. And when they showed her the schedule, Gunsmoke wasn't in it. Was not it. And so they said, "Where's Gunsmoke?" And all the executives said, "Right here." And they erased Gilligan's Island. So it was off before they had a chance to do a reunion, a rescue. But, in 1978, we did Rescue from Gilligan's Island because everybody seemed to want to know what happened to it. And it was the highest rated movie of the year.
Wow. So how many years was that after it went off the air?
Well, it went off the air in 66, and when the rescue show was in 78.
78. And then after that, what were the other shows that were made about Gilligan's Island after that?
We did another because that was so high, rated so high that we did Castaways on Gilligan's Island, where they were really rescued for good.
Right. Okay.
And then we did Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island.
Right.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that. Let me say one more thing. I had heard that Jim Backus was hysterical off screen.
Jim Backus was hysterical.
And they said that a lot of things he wanted on the air, and they're like, censors are like, no way.
Well, he used to do it from Mr. Magoo also, when he'd always kind of mumble like that.
Yeah.
And he did that with Mr. Howell too. So probably if you slow it down and listen, it'll probably say some things.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Great.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He would mumble off. Yeah.
Good.
I had a great time with him. Jim and I, we did a lot of things together. But my favorite thing was because he was also the dad in Rebel Without a Cause with James Dean.
I didn't remember that.
Yeah, so I would do my James Dean impression and go up to him and go, "You're tearing me apart," and he would say, "Cut that out."
Your background though, you did some stand up, or was it a duo, or?
Yeah, I did a comedy team thing back in the late 60s, early 70s, and my partner was a Black Panther, so we did some very, very tough material that probably couldn't be done today.
Really?
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, now this is so interesting. You're working on, or it's going to be in the Theater West in LA, like I said, coming up. It's called Classic Couple Counseling. And when I looked at that title, I go, oh, what is he talking about? He's going to be talking about some funny stuff with counseling. This goes one beyond that. Tell us what this is all about.
Well, yeah, it came about because I go to therapy, and I left therapy, and I said, well, I screwed up today. And I thought about what characters are really off the deep end, and it's Shakespearean characters. So classic couples counseling, there's a therapist for like Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet and Ophelia and the Macbeths and like that. And the therapist isn't so sane either. And so by the end of the play, you realize that all of these characters have died, and it's all because of her advice. So
that is fantastic. So she gave them bad advice.
Yes, she did. She told Ophelia, and Othello to get some pillows and kind of, lie around and rekindle their thing. And if you know that play, he smothered her with a pillow.
What a great idea for a show. Did you come up with that
was
idea?
your idea?
Yeah. Yeah. As I said, I left my therapy and I said, who else is screwed up? And that's what led me to write this
The
play.
biggest history characters, well, history, but
I could see that
fictitious history.
also being like they have ghosts on now, not like a sitcom, but a regular show, famous Hollywood couples or famous couples.
Yeah,
the same thing.
I think that's good. I think that's a very good idea, and we'll do the play first,
right?
And then some executive will come and think that they've come up with the idea, but you did first.
Yeah. Well, we got some other ideas we're going to pitch.
Well, we now have it on the air, so we know.
Yeah.
It's our idea.
Living proof, yes.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like it's going to be a big hit. When is that playing in the Theater West in LA?
Yeah, it's at Theater West, and you go to get tickets. It's opening April 1st, and tickets you go to www.theaterwest.org, and that'll direct you to how you get the tickets. And it's really a very good company. The actors, I've worked with almost all of them before. They're not famous, but they're really good, and it's a very funny show. It's very funny.
I love
it's hard for me to say that because I wrote it. I'm saying, oh, it's very funny. But
that's okay. That's okay. I wrote something too, and I think it's a great story. And if you don't believe in it, who is going to?
The funniest things I've seen are movies and plays and shows that I write. And that makes sense because if I didn't think it was funny, I wouldn't put it in there. I'm not saying they are the funniest, but they're the funniest to me.
But yeah, and you seem like I can just look at your face when you're talking about it. I'm like, I want to see this.
Thank you.
Come
on. I'm hoping that this is kind of a tryout so we can bring it to Broadway. I've written lots of plays, and this is one. There's about 2 or 3 that I think can go to Broadway.
I think we could bring this to Long Island as a Laughter Saves Lives fundraiser.
Okay, I'm for it. Just yeah.
We would love that.
We'll see how it runs. I'm very tight with a full equity theater here on Long Island.
Yes,
they would love to do this. It's almost summer stock kind of theater, but it's a big theater. But they would love something like that.
We have about 2 minutes. One or two more questions.
Sure.
The Love Boat.
Yeah.
Another one of those shows that people say, oh, it was corny, but I think probably a lot of viewers. It ran for a while. What did you do on that show?
That ran 8 years or so. I worked on it for about a year as a story editor, and my job was very easy. When they have like 3 stories, and when they mix, they cross in the bar or something, I'd write that. And so it took about 10 minutes a week. And then,
now
it's a job.
Now I know you weren't. You weren't involved with Fantasy Island, right?
No, not that way.
But Love Boat, those sequences, weren't they shot separately so they could be interchanged if they had to?
Right. That was the way it was done. And each scene was each sequence rather was on different color paper. And so they would put them all together like that. And
right.
Right. This is and this is my wonderful co-host. I have listed about 20 shows that you worked on, and he says you weren't involved with Fantasy Island, were you?
No, I only said that because I had just saw that Fantasy Island, they said, was shot like that. So I was going to ask you that
all right.
Shot
it probably was.
Love American Style, Baywatch, Laverne and Shirley.
These are shows he never did.
These are shows that he was involved with. Yeah. Three's Company, What's Happening, a lot of good stuff. A lot of good stuff. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to be on a show.
It was a pleasure. And I love, as I said when I got on, I just love what you guys are doing, and it's important work. And, Brady Bunch, we tried to do little lessons, but you guys are really doing it, and that's great.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Be well.
This was an honor.
We'll be in touch. And what the name of the play is?
Classic Couples Counseling. Go to www.theaterwest.org in Los Angeles, and you come see it.
Is there another website, your own personal stuff, anything else that you want to plug?
No.
Okay.
This is it for right now.
Very good, Lloyd. Thank you so much, my friend.
I can't wait to see it. Thank you.
Be well. What a great guest. Butch is landing guests left and right.
Grand slam.
Double his salary, Butch.
Yeah. Well,
double his salary.
I don't know about it.
Yeah, let's double it. Let's go to break. Let's go to break.
50% of nothing.
Yes. Let's go to break, and we'll be back with Emmy Award-winning impressionist John Santo.
Wow.
Hi, I'm Gretchen Rossi.
And I'm Arthur Lee, the creator of Lifevac.
We're here today to announce that to date, Lifevac has saved hundreds of lives of people who almost died due to choking.
People may not realize that on average, 14 people a day die from choking-related incidents. Every 5 days, one of those lives is a child. That's why I created Lifevac.
And as a new mom, and from housewife to housewife, I felt compelled to share with you the discovery of this life-saving device.
Lifevac is a simple-to-use airway clearance device. Just place, push, and pull to save a life.
And it costs less than it would take to fill up your car with a tank of gas. Imagine being able to save a life for less than $70.
To learn more, please visit lifevac.net.
That's LIFEVAC.net.
Please don't allow one of your loved ones to become the victim of a choking accident.
Did you see that? When you said you both. Hey, we're back. We're back. Richie and I just discussing all the work that Lloyd did on Fantasy Island. Richie doing his research for the interview.
That's my ADD show. The ADD.
Let's bring out our buddy, our friend, John Santo.
Can I say one thing to John?
I love. He says, I have a question for Lloyd. He comes on. He goes, let me tell you a story.
Let me tell you about my vacation.
Let me tell you about.
I asked the question. Yeah,
but you didn't say you were going to tell a story.
Well, that was a big deal for me to be at that house. I go every time I go to LA. I go to that house every time.
John is the only guy that comes on with a big guest like Lloyd Schwartz and has a rhetorical question. He's not supposed to answer.
Let me tell you about the.
I was excited. I it's exciting.
So, Mr. I know the house. Who bought the house?
The home people, the garden.
Yes, but who bought it now? Now that it's renovated, who bought it?
Oh, I don't know. I have to look it up.
Lance Bass.
Lance.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
He bought the house. I think it was $3.8 million.
Yep.
Lance Bass.
Wow.
Now, this is the first time in history that it actually is the interior of the house. It's
right.
It was never like that. It was just the exterior.
They redid it to look like that.
And here's a trivia thing for you. There was an iron fence put up, and when they made the Brady Bunch movie, they had to go to a similar house in the neighborhood because it wouldn't match.
Right. And the window. Yes, the windows were different. But for our viewers who don't know who Lance Bass is, he was in Fantasy Island.
Yes.
The
new Fantasy Island.
The new one.
But let me ask a question. Was Lloyd, we didn't ask him this, was he involved in the movie as well? I'm sure he was.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he was one of the I think he was one of the EPs.
Well, the comedy with
the movie, the new movie, the one with the guy that I can't think of his name now.
Yeah, well, no, the Gary Cole Shelley Long one was a satire. I don't know if
yes, that was, but it was the
Gary Coleman.
Gary Cole.
Gary Cole, not Gary Coleman. That's different strokes.
Yeah.
Lance Bass.
What you talking about?
What you talking about, Wills?
What he said something that was interesting. He said that all the actors in his play are excellent, right? Excellent actors, but are not well known.
Right.
We got Emmy Award-winning impressionist who is not that well known, very talented. Yeah. We have comics in Long Island who maybe nobody else knows around the country who are so funny.
Yeah.
So good. Like Rich Walker and John LaRocchia.
Well, I'm not saying, that's not something we do. We don't plug ourselves here.
I plugged you.
I know, but thank you. But what I'm saying is that you need that break. You need to meet somebody in the right spot, or you need to, I stopped, not that I was going to be a star, but I stopped doing comedy in a time where that was my time to get traction. Right? 9/11 hit or whatever. I just found it interesting that he said that because there's so many comics and actors out there who are just as good as the ones that made it big.
Do you know how close John was to asking Lloyd to send him the script to his show? Were you thinking of it?
Oh, I'm sending it.
Oh,
no, I'll send it, but I didn't find it appropriate.
It was a good.
I was close. I was close.
I already don't worry about it. I already talked to him. We're good.
Thank you, Butch.
So I have some information here, John. I was able to obtain, being the Laughter Saves Lives live investigative journalist.
Yes.
Right.
I obtained a declassified National Transportation Safety Board report on the SS Minnow. Okay, and
excellent.
yes, and it finds. Now we all love the skipper, we all love Gilligan, but this report, okay, they cite them for poor seamanship and reckless operation of a vessel, endangering the lives of 5 passengers. They didn't get a weather briefing. That was a 3-hour tour. They didn't know that the weather would get that rough and the tiny ship would be tossed.
Go ahead.
Well,
it finds fault with Captain Jonas Grumby, the skipper, and First Mate William Gilligan. I bet you didn't know their real names.
No.
I got the report right here.
Wow, you could turn a comedy segment into.
FBI is involved as well because there was a large amount of cash on a small vessel for a 3-hour tour. Mr. Howell brought millions, gingerboard dresses. I think there was something nefarious going on there.
You know,
now,
he mentioned that.
Yes. Now, here's a question I have for you. How is it that the professor could build a car out of a palm tree and a stethoscope out of a coconut, but he couldn't fix a hole in a boat? That ship was not that damaged.
Point well taken.
Suspicious.
I have a trivia question for you. Are you done yet? Because thank you for doing that.
Thank you for working on that today.
I have a question. Who now owns the SS Minnow, the original boat?
Oh, that's a good question.
Lance Bass.
Lance Bass.
Thank you, David Letterman, stepping up.
I'm sorry, Rich. I'm sorry.
So, John, you talked about the big break, right? So I was actually at the David Letterman show in 1995, right?
Yes.
And they picked the guy next to me online to be on the show, right? So my wife goes, if you'd been picked, what would you have done? I said, I would have done my Casey Kasem impression. Unbeknownst to me, guess who was on David Letterman's show that day?
The amazing
Casey Kasem.
Lance Bass.
Lance Bass.
Not Lance Bass. Could you imagine if I had done my impression of Casey Kasem in front of the real Casey Kasem?
Well, no,
that would have been my break, but it didn't happen.
Dueling Casey Kasems.
We could have done dueling Casey Kasems.
The highlight of your impression career. All right. Who did you do impressions with? That is the highlight of your career.
Yes.
On this program.
No, the highlight of your whole career.
That was talking.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm teeing it up. On this program, I did dueling bushes with an idol of mine, my inspiration, Rich Little.
Unbelievable.
And I'm forever grateful for that opportunity because that was like that. Yeah, I mean, that was incredible. Like I have very few times where I have these incredible moments.
He's enjoying it.
Rich Little, he was on with Rich Little.
Right.
And I was so happy that I was able to do that for him, like Les Deegan with Joe Piscopo. And he did the impression, the Bush with Rich Little. And Rich Little turned and said, who is that? Like, who are you doing?
Right.
Which was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. But
he knew I was doing George W. Bush 43. And he was doing my dad 41. And that's what we did. It was a lot of fun. A hooch. That's a good episode to rewatch on the internets.
That was next week. We're going to have Burt Ward was not feeling well today. He's going to be back next week.
And I do dueling impressions with Burt Ward.
Yes. If you had to say, talk to Burt Ward right now and tell him to feel better, who would you do where you think Burt Ward would enjoy it?
I would do it as another Batman character. I would do Bane from Batman. No, I do Bane. I would say, we hope that Burt Ward feels better soon. We hope he gets well. Next time, wear a mask and you won't get sick.
He probably hates Burt Ward because it's the new Batman.
Was that in the original Batman?
No, that was in the movie.
The dark Batman. Do something.
Oh, from the original Batman? I don't do anybody from that.
There was a comedian.
We got how much time we got, Bob?
You have 10 seconds.
Oh,
10 seconds.
Well, that was a great show.
Great show.
Great show. Thank you to Lloyd Schwartz. Thank you to Dana Lopez. Thank you to John Sander, Butch Seltzer for putting together a slamming show.
Great. Double his pay. Double it.
And we'll see you next week on Laughter Saves Lives. Richie and I, we're going to the diner.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
leather gloves, we're slapping in hands. Popcorn and peanuts, we're working the stands. Pink cotton candy, love on a stick. He's chasing the beer that circle the lips. Play ball, play ball. Load up the bases and smack it right over the wall. Play ball, play ball.